Hey guys, it's ExandShadow, and welcome to the grand finale of Let's Play Mega Man 2. In the last part, we started our siege on Dr. Wily's Fortress, Castle, Skull, Thingama-Hoozama-Fuck-It, and in this part we're going to be taking the fight to Wily himself after we go through the last two levels, of course. Now, Wily 3 is actually one of the shortest levels in the entire game, but it's also the point where the music changes, and I do have to say that, yeah, this is one of the most anticlimactic songs in the entire... I'd actually say that this is my least favorite song in the entire soundtrack, if only because I can't remember it after it's done. I mean, it's not terrible, I wish that they had gone with something else for the second half of the castle. Because even though I do think it's overrated, the first track really does do a good job of getting you, like, pumped to go fight Wily and kick his ass. And this track, it's okay, I guess. You know, I don't think that this would have been a good, like, Wily 1, Wily 2, and Wily 2 should have been Wily... I mean, I don't think that Wily 1's theme should have been Wily 3 and 4, because I don't think that it fits for something this deep in the base, but I don't feel like this theme really fits for a just about to fight Wily showdown sort of track either. If only just because it's the same melody over and over again. It's just like whole notes and It's just not really all that memorable, and it's kind of bleh. And there's not really a whole lot to talk about this level either. I get through it in like a minute and a half. It's one of the shortest. I think it might be the shortest level in the entire game. No lie. It's pretty damn easy, you know. It's stuff that we've already done before. If you remember how to jump in water from Bubble Man's stage, you'll pretty much be fine. So anyway, another candidate for a really cool boss that can get taken down really, really easily is the Guts Tank! Da-da! Yeah, Guts Tank looks pretty intimidating, easy as shit. I got hit once, and that was because I wasn't sure where his hitbox for the hand was. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that he's tough if you try to Mega Buster him, but I've got Quick Boomerangs, so I should be pretty fine. Yeah, again, I'm not sure if Quick Boomerangs is like his legit or usual weakness, but that's what I always use against him, and it seems to work pretty well for me, so I'm just gonna keep on using them then. If that's alright with you guys, anyway. Anyway, I don't know where Dr. Wily got purple bricks, but I actually think, you know what, good for you, dude. Purple bricks are actually pretty nice. And also, if you're wondering why I'm suddenly out of Flash Stopper, I did die, as you remember, I died last part to the floor boss, and so I just wanted to get through the rest of the level really quickly, so I used the Flash Stopper on the stompy chain things, but that's sort of why that is. If you see my weapon energy suddenly like gaining gaining some tank or losing some tank after I die, that's because I'm cutting out grinding or using weapon energy at this point. Now, if you do actually get a game over in the Wily Castle, you can continue from the start of the level where you left off. So if you die in Wily 3, you can still keep on going in Wily 3. And also you refill all of your weapon energy too, so that might be nice. But the only thing is that you actually lose all of your E-tanks if you get a game over. So I'd actually recommend holding on to passwords for, well, at the very least, hold on to passwords for each level that also let you have 4 energy tanks, because then you can sort of cheat the system. And that Bubble Lead was a liar. Liar, Bubble Lead. Liar. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, look online for passwords for like Wily 1 with 4 energy tanks, Wily 2 with 4 energy tanks, etc, 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 so that you can more easily get your way past this castle. If only just because it's easier to get through this part with energy tanks than without energy tanks. Anyway, the Bubble Lead's actually kind of useful here because, as you can see, there are pass-through parts of the floor where you will fall and die, like that, even though I totally did grab onto that ledge, so I don't know what was wrong with the game there. Anyway, yeah, you're going to want to use the Bubble Lead in order to pass, to see which parts of the floors are dangerous and which part of the floors aren't dangerous. Now, at the beginning, it's just sort of an inconvenience thing where you'll just walk through the floor and it's just a matter of walking back up. Like right here with that Metul there, walking through the pass-through floor isn't really that much of a penalty because all you have to do is fight one of those guys there. Or right here where all you have to do is just go through a few more rooms. Screw it. Screw it, screw it, screw it. I don't feel like walking past and trying to remember which the hitbox is where and yada yada yada. Now, if you're good at counting like squares or tiles, this area isn't really all that annoying. But if you're like me and you just don't want to deal with that stuff, you can easily just cheat the system by using item 1 here. So, yeah. Well, assuming I can get item 1 in the right spot. It's kind of hard to tell where the stuff will, where item 1 will spawn, because it needs to spawn where there's space for it to spawn. And since you're playing in an area where there's pass-through walls, it's kind of hard to tell where exactly the spawnable area for the platform is. But other than that, it's not really too bad. And if you're really unsure about this section with the spikes right here, you could always item 2 your way across, but it's not really that bad, I don't think. Or at least it's not that bad for me, anyway. And also, I don't know why I'm bothering to go after this energy tank here, because honestly, ow, you know, I've got, well, you see, I could use an energy tank, and then gain back those 3 health spots, and then that would be, you know, use of, I'm actually wasting more weapon energy here to get this energy tank than it's really worth, because what am I going to have to do here? I'm going to have to, well, wait for the platform to end, obviously. Use an energy tank to gain like 3 things of health, and then grab that energy tank. And while that's normally a good strategy if you're like at really low health, I only had like 3 dots missing, so I might as well just have kept on going, you know? It was really just sort of wasting my time and your time. Also, yeah, I'm not a very... Oh, yeah, normally I would press the 2 button to jump down from these ladders, but in this section, don't do that. That would lead to a spiky and inevitable death, so, yeah, don't do that. So anyway, these little, what do you want to call them? Conveyor belts? Pathway, these platforms, okay, that's a good way to put it, are back from Crashman stage, and you can get past them really easily the same way I did in Crashman stage, by just spawning a leaf shield and waiting for the thing to take you to where you need to go. Now, it's a little bit more involved than in Crashman stage, because there are some instances where you will actually have to make jumps. I know, right? It's just like, a platformer expects you to jump on things, the shock and horror. But it doesn't usually make you jump and dodge those little guys at the same time, though. So like here, it expects you to make jumps, but there's no enemies here. And down here, when we get to this next page, there will be... Oh! It does expect me to make jumps and dodge enemies at the same time. Bold game! Bold! You're making me actually have to try! Yeah. When it comes to the legendarily difficult games from the NES era, Mega Man 2 does not really fit in there, especially if you're playing on normal mode. Now, I'm sure that on the difficult mode, which is actually the Japan's only difficulty selection, if I remember correctly, I'm sure it's a lot harder than this, but on normal mode, which is what I'm playing because I'm a pussy, this is really no problem. Anybody with even just a little bit of dedication, and it's not even really just skill. Enough trial and error will let you get past this game without too much of a problem. But yeah, anybody with enough dedication can get past Mega Man 2 without really that much of a problem. Yeah. Anyway, this one's a little bit annoying since you have to wait for this platform. Or you can say, fuck it, and item 2 your way across. Yeah, you're not going to be needing it for any more required stuff, so just use your items 1, 2, and 3 whenever you need them for just easier platforming at this point in the game. Ow. Also, this section right here is kind of bullshit because, look, they've got this guy right here, and there's no way you can dodge his attacks. I mean, literally, no way. You don't have room to jump over them, and then you've got to fight another one of these goddamn mech guys who I'm just gonna off-screen. But now, the first guy, it's impossible to dodge, but the second guy, it's totally possible. What the heck, game? Was Keiji Inafune drunk when he designed this part, or what? So anyway, for this boss, you are going to need to be absolutely sure that you have 100% full crash bombs, because you need, and I repeat, need to have full crash bombs if you want to beat this boss fight. You cannot waste a single crash bomb here, because if you do, you will die, and you will have to grind more crash bombs in that room in front of you, which sucks. So, yeah, this is probably my least favorite boss in the game, if only just because it's basically impossible to dodge these attacks, and you have to be pixel perfect with all of these crash bombs, because if you miss one shot, you lose. If you use one shot too many, you lose. And if you just take too long so that these robots like hurt you too much, you also lose. So don't be afraid to use an energy tank here. I use an energy tank here, and it's one of the only energy tanks I legitimately use in the entire game. So yeah, that says something, right? Like here, I've only got one energy tank left. Well, not one energy tank left. I've only got one use of crash bombs left. And now normally you would think that you would just crash bomb to open up that door and then crash bomb your way to that other disco ball of doom or whatever. I don't know. The only good thing about accidentally using too much crash bombs is that any doors that you break open with the crash bombs in this boss will stay open if you die and come back later. So at the very least, you'll have a little bit more leniency on your second time through. But on your first time through, you don't have any idea that you only have a limited amount of crash shots. And even it doesn't even bother me that you have a limited amount of shots, but that you have the only precise amount of shots available to you to beat the boss with on your first time. It's just, obnoxious. Anyway, boss rush time! Yes, this boss rush thing is a staple of the Mega Man franchise, and it has come back and back and back over and over and over again, even though nobody likes it. And yes, as you saw on the pause screen, I do not have any I don't have any energy tanks left, and that's because the boss after this one, no, this isn't the end of the game. The boss after this one's hard, and I got a game over to it, so now I'm starting this over again with no energy tanks. Surprising how I managed to, well, basically, I keep on forgetting that I have them in this game. Because for the most part, you know, and at least in normal difficulty, you don't really need them too often. I mean, yeah, I need them for the, what's it called, boss, that Crash Bomb boss, but other than that, it's not really all that bad. You know, you can get through most of the game without any, without using any energy tanks, or at least I can. I don't know if you guys are as good as I am, but I can get through the entire game with only using one energy tank. Can you? Yeah, well, probably. Mega Man 2 really isn't all that bad when it comes to difficulty. So anyway, this boss rush is basically just all the bosses all in a row, just like it was before. Now this really isn't all that bad, because on top of already knowing all of their strategies, you have all of the weapons this time around. And by this point, you should know which bosses are weak to which things, so really it's just a matter of remembering the... I think the most difficult part about it is that you don't know which boss is in which teleporter, so you might get surprised by it. Just like, okay, I think Bubble Man's in here. Oh shit, Quick Man, you know? There's really only that element to this boss rush that makes it hard. Or if there's just one boss that keeps on giving you shit and that you have a really hard time fighting. If that's the case, then the boss rush might give you a little bit of trouble, but other than that, you know, I don't ever really have too much of a problem with it. Also, here's Metal Man. Want to know why he's the most pathetic robot master in all of existence? He's weak to his own weapon. Fucking pussy. Even the creator of the Metal Blades is weak to the Metal Blades. Man, is he lame. And see, look at how easily I managed to rape Flashman with the Metal Blades. That's why most people consider them his weakness. But for my run, using the crash bombs on him during like the normal run is basically, you know, it's good enough, at least what I think. Anyway, here's the Wily Machine, who is an annoying bastard, but he's really not too bad, and I actually think he's a pretty fun boss fight to fight, even if you don't have any Metal Blades. It's really just a matter of spamming stuff at him, you know, spamming Metal Blades and getting into the right shot to get tons and tons of Metal Blades at him before you die, like that. Yeah, I tend to die to Wily a lot, just because I tend to bum rush and I don't like to dodge things, you know. Although, seeing as he is the final boss, he should be this difficult, you know. He should be challenging, you know. It's the last confrontation. Although, last time I fought him, he tried one of these giant mech things, and it didn't seem to work out for him so well, so I don't know why he's trying the whole giant mech thing again, you know. After a couple of times, you'd think that you'd learn to use something else, you know. But anyway, I actually recommend taking advantage of invincibility frames for that boss fight, because with like the 2 seconds of invincibility you get from getting hit, you can get like 6 Metal Blades off of him, making that fight more easy than it probably should be. But no! We are not done! Yeah, I'm pretty sure that must have been a real fake out when this game first came out. It's just like, you see the skull, you think, okay, final boss time, and then you fight that machine, which is definitely hard enough to be the final boss. And then you get here, and then there's another area here with like these creepy lava drops. And I actually do think that this cavern does a really good job of building up suspense for the real final boss. Although the drops of tomato juice are not really all that threatening to me. Though, make sure you don't get hit by these things, because they actually do take out a ton of health, like half of a health bar, or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, keep an eye out for these things. Make sure you don't get touched by them, although their pattern is easy enough to dodge that really shouldn't ever be a problem. But yes, make sure that you have bubble lead, and yes, I repeat that, bubble lead, ready for the final boss time. Aliens! I don't know, something about seeing Dr. Wily transforming into an alien is kind of odd. And although I wish that there was real final boss music, I actually really do like, I don't know, I'm always a fan of these sort of space scrolly final boss arenas. I don't know if it's just me, but like, Pokemon Black and White 2 had them, Final Fantasy 4 had something similar to this, only more 16-bit. I don't know, I just like this arena. Even though the final boss itself isn't really all that difficult, it's more just the fact that his shots do a lot of damage, and your shots do a lot of damage, so it's really just sort of a battle of attrition, really. It's a relatively simple ordeal, but once you beat Dr. Alien... Oh, it was just a machine. Man, I really wish that he was actually an alien, because that would have been so cool instead of just being an old guy jiggling his hands back and forth, controlling a disco tech. You know what? This should be a disco. Mega Man should refurbish this place, call it Dr. Wily's Disco Danger, and then make a landmine or gold mine off of all this money that he'll make. I swear, it's the best idea ever. I've saved the human race by staring death right in the face, and it's because of my bravery. Humans are safe from slavery. Tell me, Dr. Light, why did I fight? Tell me, Doctor, was I right? How many must fall until there is peace for all? Tell me, was I wrong before we get to the end of this? This is the ending song. This is the ending song. This is the... So that was Mega Man 2, a really, really fun game. Now, normally I'm more for the sort of atmospheric, immersive type stuff. You know, I'm not really an action guy, I'm more of an exploration, adventure, RPG-y type guy. But for an action game, and for a game that just aims to be as fun as possible, I think Mega Man 2 is about as good as you can get for something like that. And obviously it's just a matter of taste as for whether you prefer something a little bit more immersive as opposed to something a little bit more action-oriented like this. But when it comes to something like this, I really do feel like Mega Man 2 has the right balance of fun, non-linearity, charm, graphical. For the NES, this actually does look pretty good, too, and I love the soundtrack. I haven't really mentioned it too much there, but even though Wily 1 is a little bit of an overrated track, I love that song. I love Quickman's theme, I love Heatman's theme, I love Woodman's theme. I love all of the music in this game, and if there's one thing that can elevate a good game to a great game for me, it's the soundtrack, and I feel like it's one of the more underappreciated aspects of games, especially in, like, the official, like, review circuit. You don't really hear a whole lot of attention being called to a game's music, even when it really should be, you know? But yeah, Mega Man 2, it's surprising that this game was made just basically, like, in the equivalent of just being made in these guys' garage, because the original Mega Man didn't do as well as Capcom has originally hoped for it to do. So KJ Inafune and his team were just like, okay, please let us make Mega Man 2, please, 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 and Capcom was like, alright. And you know, it's odd that, you know, a game that was made just, like, on the will of the creators and without the company trying to make them make it, you know, it became one of Capcom's biggest cash cows, too, so, you know what, that just surprises me, and even though it's not, like, as much of my favorite as a lot of other games are, I do understand why Mega Man 2 holds a place in so many people's hearts. But, anyway, that's about it. I'm ExandShadow, and I'll see you guys later.